Hey folks, Litmus Challenge number 6 is Quote of the Year. In the spirit of Litmus, I'm going to cheat a little bit, and instead of reading you a quote from this year, I'm going to read you a quote that was said last year, but I heard for the first time this year. And it was said by Richard Flanagan when he was on the Vintage Books podcast. And he was discussing what was to be his new book called First Person that came out in the middle of this year, early middle this year. And the discussion that was around this quote was that of liberation and the novel and writing as a form of liberation. He was being asked about what sort of liberation writing had brought him. And he had talked about where he grew up in Tasmania, and this was his reply. All my people were convict people. It's the site of the first attempted genocide of an indigenous people that nearly succeeded. There were 50 survivors from whom today's indigenous people in Tasmania are descended. There's a thing Chekhov said that resonated with me very deeply. He said his whole life was a battle to squeeze the serf's blood out of him, drop by drop. His grandfather was a serf, and I felt the same struggle, and it is the written word that I feel has allowed me to finally become a free man. And of course, it sounds way better coming from Richard Flanagan, so I will link, if I can, that podcast episode down below. If not, I'll at least leave the title so that you can find it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be absent from making videos for the next 2 to 3 days because I have to go back to work for the next 3 days. So you won't be seeing a whole lot from me, but when I get back, I'm going to be doing 2 videos a day probably to catch up on the Litmus videos. So for those of you out there who are participating in Litmus, keep going. Congratulations. This shit is hard. So I hope you guys have a really, really wonderful day, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.